で仲良くなりたいんです。くるみんはどうすればいいと思いますか？
Okay, so episode number 8 of Pokemon Horizon. So let me just say this up front. I think this was a very cute episode of Pokemon Horizons, but the reality of this episode is this was a filler episode. This episode was to fill in time to get us to the next thing, which is finally arriving in Paldea. That's just the reality of it, and it's okay. Pokemon does tend to have a lot of filler. It tends to have a lot of little side activities, shopping days, finding a specific Pokemon breeder, finding, a mission, finding a random Pokemon, catching a Pokemon. There is a lot of filler in Pokemon, but what separates the filler is, was it cute? Was it enjoyable? Was it funny? Did it teach us a lesson? And when I say did it teach us a lesson, it might not necessarily be a lesson that maybe you or I— did I do that right? You or I? Yeah, I did that right. Look at that. Double thumbs up. Pat, 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 pat. It might not be a lesson that maybe you or I need to learn, but it could be a lesson that a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old could be learning, right? Because remember, at the end of the day, Pokemon, is created for everybody. As you see, like behind me here, I have my Charizard. I have my Gengar back there. On my desk over here, I have my Piplup. Obviously, I'm a super fan of Pokemon. I have been. This is a little pencil sharpener from 1998 that I've had since I was a kid. So at the end of the day, I'm a super fan, as I'm sure you are too. And Pokemon is created for everybody. And I think for us who are a lot older, I think that there's something very specific we can get out of Pokemon, which is enjoying a brand new trainer, enjoying a new region, seeing all the different Pokemon, having a pretty cool storyline, having somebody, see somebody's first trainer experience, just like we experience every time we boot up Let's Go Pikachu or Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet or Soul Silver or Pokemon Yellow. You're always going on your first Pokemon adventure for the most part. The only one that kind of deviated from that a little bit was Legends Arceus, which is basically has you being a continuation of a trainer from the past. Lots of questions there. I won't go into it. But for the most part, you're always playing a new trainer. So this one, we're getting to experience a new trainer as opposed to experience Ash having his quote-unquote first trainer experience in every region, which has always been a little bit weird. So, like I said, going back, this is always something that a lesson can be learned for a kid, right? It could be something, whether it's a life lesson for, for friendships, a life lesson for curiosity, a life lesson for trust, a life lesson for a multitude of different things, or it could just be lessons that are more curated towards Pokemon and maybe have something to do with a kid's first experience in Pokemon. I know this week, my son jumped into Let's Go Pikachu for the first time. Been hesitant at giving him that adventure because games today, like Legends Arceus, are very easy to get into for kids. They're very simple to understand. Games like Scarlet and Violet were a little bit more difficult for him to understand and needed a lot of his older sister's help to read and kind of navigate through the game. Let's Go Pikachu, although the catching method is very simple, there is still a lot of reading because at the end of the day, it's a remake of Pokemon Yellow, which has a lot of dialogue in there. So he needed help there as well too. So again, these are just, things that are kids' first time. So with all that big long-winded explanation out the way, this was a filler episode. And the things that occurred this episode was, we found out that Roy and Liko are still taking their classes remotely, right? And I find it really funny that they're able to still just bump or jump into class and be able to take their classes remotely. Basically, she's not missing a beat. She's not missing a day of school. She is a participant in school, but she is a remote participant in school. So I think that is pretty cool and pretty crazy. I like how we are this close to either Liko, mostly it's going to be Liko, and or Roy finding out that this Dot girl is actually Guramine. I like how Liko was really excited. She even monologued to Dot on how Guramine meant so much to her, etc. And not knowing that she was speaking to Guramine. I like when Guramine finally streamed this episode. You could hear, I love Liko's reaction. She fangirled this episode. because this was a Q&A live stream that 𝐒𝐿 did for her viewers, where she answered questions like, what should I do for this first Pokemon battle? What should I do for that? And she ended up answering a question that Liko had posed to her, which is like, how do you make a friend with somebody who just simply doesn't want to be your friend, who doesn't want to have anything to do with you? How do you navigate that? And she asked her an IRL question, which 𝐒𝐿 and Dot alike seem to not very do much well with, because they don't really have very socialistic experience. They're more of they're more of an internet personality, as she even claimed herself that she could turn on that mental switchy, which I thought was pretty cool. But she fangirled out, she yelled, you could hear it in her stream. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, is this gonna be the moment where Liko put 2 and 2 together? She's like, yo, I just heard myself on the stream. No, it wasn't, which is kind of crazy because there's always a little bit of a stream delay. So regardless, I thought that was pretty cool. We saw Roy battle for the first time, where he beat up a Spearow. I thought that was a really cool thing as well. And then there was a little moment where Liko was shining her pendant as Dot was going on about, wanting to find legendary Pokemon and stuff. Then the episode ends with them finally ending up in Paldea. So overall, this was a good episode of Pokemon Horizons, but overall this was a filler episode of Pokemon Horizons. This was something to fill in time as the group moves to Paldea, and next week when they arrive in Paldea, that's when it's actually going to officially start the next little arc, or the next adventure in Paldea, as Roy tries and finds this black Rayquaza, and they try and go through the Paldean experience here, with Liko trying to figure out more about the pendant, trying to figure out more about her grandma and everything else that comes with it. So overall, really good episode. Really enjoyed it, but will acknowledge what it is, and it is a filler episode. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. Again, I think this episode just furthered my love for Liko. I love her little expressions. I love the way that she held herself. I love how she fangirled out at 𝐒𝐿. I think that was all really cute, and I laughed quite a bit at that. I had a nice little chuckle, especially when she was like, ah! I thought that was pretty cool, because that does end up happening in real life too, especially with some of your favorite YouTubers, streamers, Twitch people, TikTok now, when they go live and they are able to actually answer or talk back to you. It could be a really cool little moment. So really enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments below. If you have nothing to say, drop me an emoji down there. Just let me know you were here. I definitely appreciate it. And of course, I'll see you guys next weekend for episode 9 of Pokemon Horizons. All right, my friends, I'll see you guys then. Peace.